Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? I hope you will all be fine. Okay, dear students, if you remember, we did the kinds of phrases like noun phrase, adverb phrase, and adjective phrase. And on that day, I told you that we have some more phrases which we are supposed to discuss in some other lecture. So today we are going to discuss all the other phrases which can be there in your subjective and in your objective paper. So the phrases which I have selected today, the first phrase is prepositional phrase. Why do we call it a prepositional phrase? Because whenever you have a prepositional phrase in a sentence, it always begins with a preposition. As you can see in the example, they will fish by the river. By is a preposition in the sentence, and the phrase is beginning with the preposition. So this is called the prepositional phrase. Now we have some other examples over here, like from Texas with seven reeds. In all these examples, in both of these examples, the phrases they are beginning with a preposition, so they are called prepositional phrases. Then we come to the next phrase, and that is participle phrase. First of all, let us revise the concept of the participle. That what is a participle? Participle is a verb that ends with ing and it always describes an adjective in a sentence. It always acts as an adjective in a sentence. So, how does it describe a noun in a sentence? This is what we are going to see. Like you can see in the chart, the rising sun, the cooked fish, the broken heart, the rising sun, the cooking fish, the breaking heart. In all these phrases, the present participles and past participles, they have been used and they are acting as an adjective over there because they are modifying the nouns which they are following. So this is the reason that they are called participle phrase, and always remember this thing that a participle phrase always begins with a participle. Then we have some more examples of the participle phrases. Rising out of the sea in front of us, the whale was breathtakingly strong and majestic. Fine. So you can see that the phrase is beginning with a present participle because we have already decided that a present participle is ing form of the verb and the past participle is the third form of the verb. So the whole of the phrase is describing the noun which is will, right? So this is the reason that whenever a phrase would be describing a noun in a sentence and it will be beginning with a present participle, it will be called a participle phrase. Then the second example is printed on the very first press. The document was highly celebrated. Again, this phrase is beginning with past participle, and the whole of this phrase is describing the noun, which is the document. Broken by the stone, the window had to be replaced before the next rain. So the phrase is beginning with the past participle and it is modifying or it is describing the noun which is the window. So the thing which we have learned about the participle phrase is that they always begin with a participle, either with the present participle or the past participle, and they describe the noun in the sentence. They act as an adjective in the sentence. Then we come to the next kind, and that is verb phrase. What do we mean by verb phrase and how the phrases are formed? They are formed by adding helping verb plus main verb. In all these sentences, in all these examples, you can see was born, did live, have seen. In all these sentences, you can see that helping verb plus main verb becomes a verb phrase. So whenever you have a helping verb plus main verb, underlined, so it means that it is a verb phrase. It will be very easy for you just to identify a verb phrase because it is always formed by adding helping verb plus main verb. Like have traveled, has been teaching, couldn't wait, didn't move. In all these phrases, helping verb plus main verb has been underlined, so they are called verb phrases. Then we have other phrase and oppositive phrase. What do we mean by appositive phrase? First of all, let's revise the idea of appositive noun or noun in apposition. If you remember when we did the kinds of noun, I told you about the appositive, that whenever a noun is there and right after the noun an other noun is there, just to describe the first noun, that is called an appositive or noun in apposition. Same is the case over here, that how an appositive phrase is formed. Suppose you can see in the examples, my jacket, a windbreaker, fits well. It means my jacket is one noun and right after a noun a phrase is there which is describing the noun my jacket, so it is called appositive phrase. I bought a book, comma, an international atlas. It means that an international atlas is an appositive phrase because it is describing the noun which is book. The man gave his wife, his partner for 10 years, a beautiful opal ring. It means wife is the noun and right after wife a phrase is there which is describing the noun wife, so it is an appositive phrase. So this is the reason that we call it an appositive phrase because it simply stands side by side with that noun which it describes in the sentence. This is the reason that it is called an appositive phrase. Then we come to the next kind, and that is gerund phrase. Let us revise the concept of the gerund first. Gerund is again ing in form of the verb, but it acts as a noun in a sentence. Present participle is also ing in form of the verb, but it acts as an adjective in a sentence. On the other hand, gerund is also ing in form of the verb, but it acts as a noun in the sentence. It tells us about the name of the activity in the sentence. Fine. Like vaulting is my best event in gymnastics. Vaulting is acting as a gerund over here because it is acting as a noun. Swallowing hurt my sore throat. What hurt my sore throat? Swallowing is acting as a gerund. So the best way to locate a gerund in a sentence is that it always answers what. What is my best event in gymnastics? What hurt my sore throat? So whenever ing in form of the verb will be there, which will be answering what, so it will be called a gerund. Then we have infinitive phrases. First of all, in the last lecture, we discussed about an infinitive, that an infinitive is formed by adding to plus first form of the verb. So whenever you see that a phrase is beginning with to plus first form of the verb, it means that that phrase will be called an infinitive phrase. So in all these examples, we do have the infinitive. So whenever a phrase would be having an infinitive, it will be called an infinitive phrase. The baby wanted to wiggle continuously. I plan to visit during the afternoon. The student asked the college to send a catalog. So it means that all these phrases to wiggle, to visit, to send a catalog, these are all the phrases which are called infinitive phrases because they do have an infinitive with them. So I think your idea of the phrase would be quite much clear by now. Still, if we have any difficulty, we can ask. Now, students, we have some more examples with the gerund phrases over here, so your idea would be more clear. I love what? Sleeping through the night. So, sleeping through the night will be a gerund phrase. My parents prefer what? Eating dinner alone. So, eating dinner alone would be a gerund phrase. We would not recommend traveling without insurance. We would not recommend what? Traveling without insurance. So it will be a gerund phrase. His daughter enjoys what? Fixing broken bicycles. So fixing broken bicycles would be a gerund phrase. Do they like what? Swimming with dolphins. So swimming with dolphins would be a gerund phrase. So the best way to locate or to identify a gerund phrase that it would have a gerund in it plus it would always answer what. So in this way you can easily recognize a gerund phrase in your exam. I think this is enough for today, and in the next lecture we are going to discuss the complements and the kinds of complements which are also a part of your syllabus. Okay, students, Allah Hafiz. May God bless you.